Yes, they would go through a fasting process where they had to eat certain foods, be bathed in a certain type of water, the natural spring flowing in the area. They would have to sleep in a certain building where the peak of everything was to dream of the god Asclepios. Snakes were used. Snakes were the sacred animal, or what do you call it? Serpent, yeah, of Asclepios. So snakes were also placed in the area of sleeping. So they were bit, they say, by snakes. The venom not doing anything to harm them, but actually to heal them. And they had to dream of the god. We have found inscriptions, actual stelae, with on them descriptions of healing. A young boy coming over to be healed and saying that he came over and Asclepios healed him. So we have found actual plaques describing the sick and describing how they were healed. We have found a very popular offering was miniature copies of members of the human body. Ears, for example, mouth, the hands. So obviously the sick coming here were had something to do with what they brought to offer. Now, what did the theatre have to do with all of this? The Greeks believed that if you wanted to heal the body, you first had to heal the soul and the mind. So what better way to do that than to watch a tragedy, someone else's problems to forget about your own, or a comedy to make you laugh and to make you heal you naturally. So the theatre was part of the healing process. Now this particular theatre, the theatre of Epidaurus, is very unique because it has fabulous acoustics. It's set in such a way on this slope here that you have the valley down below, and even a whisper can be heard at the top. Absolutely everything. The seating, the lower part, is from the 3rd century BC. That fit about 6,500 people. Then we have the addition of the upper level, which was added in the 2nd century BC, bringing it to a total capacity of 12,500 people. So the seating area is one part of the theatre. It's called the Kilon, K-O-I-L-O-N. The other part is the orchestra, which is the round part in the middle. Sometimes it was a semicircular form later on through theatrical times. And that is where the chorus stood and spoke. What was the chorus? The chorus was, other than the actors performing, the chorus was the background information. For example, you know Orestes, the son of Agamemnon, killing his mother Clytemnestra in one of the Greek tragedies. And he killed her because she had killed his father Agamemnon. Of course, he was feeling quite guilty at having done that. So the guilt that he felt was expressed through the group of chorus. They would give you the feeling of that killing. Oh, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? And imagine 12 saying that, reaching the crowd, and the feeling of Orestes' guilt. So the chorus gave us the background information. No form of violence was shown in front of the spectators. If there was a death, it would be heard, a cry in the distance. A messenger god coming, Hermes for example, and saying, "Did you hear that?" That was Orestes killing his mother. Or Hades coming up from the underworld. So they had props, they had scenery, again as far back as the 5th century BC. Other theatres, this is the 3rd, I know. Scenery that was made out of wooden panels that would rotate and would change the scenery. Cranes that would bring down the gods. Areas that would hide a god, again Hades coming from the underworld. So scenery from a cave, from a temple, from Mount Olympus, anything to enhance the imagination of the spectator. So that was the orchestra, and we also of course had the stage. Now the stage here is not visible because there's not much left, unfortunately. You can see parts of it underneath the scaffolding. Do you see that over there? Just in front of us. But imagine the stage was up to 3 stories high as the actual theatre seating was. Oh, wow. So at some point it was just one, then we have the addition of a second floor and a third one, and the actors, according to time, moving up or down. Changing rooms behind the stage, and also these pillars here, these entranceways, the parodi, they are called, P-A-R-O-D-I, parodi. That's where the actors or the orchestra entered the theatre, and it's also where the spectators walked through to sit at the lower tiers. In some theatres, we also have areas of the most famous and very important people, the VIPs. We had seating that had a back to it, and on the seating they would inscribe the actual name of that very famous person sitting there. Next following year, of course, writing something different. So especially in Athens, you'll notice when you look at the Theatre of Dionysus that you have seats with backs on them. Here, not so many are visible, but if you look at the upper level, the lower seats, some have backs to them, and also the lower level of where we are now, back to it, but most of them are missing. I don't know if you have any questions. What I'd like to do is show you the acoustics. It has to be very quiet, so I'm going to attempt it, but I don't know if I'll be successful. If I stand right in the center of the orchestra, it's so particular. The sound that comes out from the person standing there can reach all parts of the seating area. Wherever you sit, even at the top left or right hand corner, you can hear even a breath, even a coin dropped to the floor, even a piece of paper ripped. From that center, triangles are produced to reach the seating area. So if I can have my singers with me, I'll do the acoustics, and then afterwards we'll have a little performance. So if you like, you can run up to the top. You don't have to run up to the top, but what is very important is that you have to be quiet. And I'm going to have to ask the rest of the group to do that also. So if you'd like to join that. All right, you famous girls.